The Brothers Wisp. The Brothers Wisp, Brothers Wisp. The Brothers Wisp.
Hey everybody, this is Greg with The Brothers Wisp number 66. We're here from lovely Baltimore. You can tell by the scenic views. Yeah, it's so nice here. This is the MUM, day one?
Day one.
Day one. It's late at night, we're all exhausted. That's how it goes, so we're going to make it just kind of a quick update one. So far, I did my presentation today, Tomas did his presentation. We had one review that Tomas did a better presentation from an anonymous source. I don't appreciate that kind of language.
We all did a presentation.
Yeah, and then we all did a panel. Everybody should jump in and check that out. I thought it was pretty good. I like those free-form, ask me anything sort of style things. What's interesting is at the end of it, there's always more hands going up. There's always people that have more questions. Momentum. Yeah, I think it's really good. Met a lot of new faces. We met Nick, our patron, one of our first patrons, I think, that we've sort of met in real life.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
We're going to have a link to that down in the notes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
David promised to be a Patreon. We'll see if that happens.
Did he? I think we actually...
I was on camera.
I think we had two... I think we had two patron signups today, actually. So I guess it picked up a couple more. That's cool.
So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. What else? There were no new announcements, right? Nothing new from this MUM that we didn't already see in the European MUM.
Right.
I don't think, were there?
Nope. Just the same stuff as the Europe MUM. Yeah.
We're calling this the CRS MUM, right?
Yeah, that definitely is a
Lots
CRS
of
MUM.
great CRS.
Yeah, that's right. They announced all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, full 24 port and 48 port PoE switches.
10 gig, 40 gig.
Yeah,
and
QSFP plus ports.
And yeah, not only are they directly competing with Ubiquity, but they one-up them with the QSFP.
Did they? I mean, they didn't talk about street price or anything, though, did they?
No, and all the new hardware will be released up to
Next
a year
year.
from now. Yeah, so this is the timeline or the roadmap for the next year.
Gotcha. So, no expectation of when any of that stuff's going to actually hit the street. Well,
Well, and it sounds like some of the things are yet to be determined. For example, I asked, will the software support the hardware standard of QSFP breakout cables? And it was kind of like,
oh, that's where you can take
we're still working on that.
a QSFP and break it into 4 10 gigs or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's really all it is it's 4 10 gigs bonded, right?
They also said that they don't have the chipset nor the CPU choices final for any of those products yet, so yeah, still very much prototyping phase.
Interesting.
Or the fact that they would possibly sell those modules as well, you know.
Right.
That was
Well,
up in the air.
Yeah. It's something they're hoping to do,
Yeah.
but whether or not they'll be able to compete with FiberStore and the likes.
I thought 40 gig was kind of an interesting choice. It seemed like at this point in time, most people sort of skipped 40 gig, haven't they? And, isn't everybody expecting the 100 gig stuff?
Actually, one of the interesting things was people were asking the Mikrotik guys here and in Berlin that why even do the 40 gig STAGF, and they said that it's for yet unannounced new features, and the word stacking was mentioned. And so we'll see. Mikrotik probably has quite a bit of plans for those 40 gig ports.
That's interesting. So maybe they'll have specialized 40 gig QSFP.
Maybe DAX or something.
Yeah,
DAX,
40 gig.
It makes sense that they have a pair of them on the front then.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that they already have the form factor finalized and the power supply and everything, but they don't have
The
the
chipsets kind
And
of,
the CPUs.
Yeah.
I think that's the
all.
easy part, though, right?
They were open to
designing
feedback,
things.
though. I noticed that the 48-port non-PoE has dual power supply, while the PoE switch does not.
And they
And
also
so
said
they were open to.
they said
well,
the power supply
is
in
that
the
something
PoE
you want?
version was so big that they probably couldn't fit a second one in.
Right, but
It's 1 kilowatt for the power supply.
But I mentioned even if you want,
1 kilowatt.
not full redundancy, but you want the switching and the control plane to stay up. Maybe have a smaller power supply for that. So we'll see.
That's interesting. I know in some of the Cisco stacking stuff, you can share power between chassis. I wonder if they're going to try and do something like that. So like, it's like the way they have some of their stacks made is if you need more draw from the middle one, it'll actually pull power from other units around it. To do
Probably not with QSFP.
Yeah, I
but-
don't think so. Yeah, they have to have a custom
Not without like
stacking
an
cable
actual
for that.
stack for it. Yeah. Oof. I've seen some other. I think TP-Link had some stacking capabilities built into their software, right? Like you do regular.
HP has some of that too, and it's like kind of like a management stacking where you can
Well, same with Juniper.
log into.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking because the TP-Link they're using just off-the-shelf chipsets, right, and just kind of giving you access to all the features. I wonder if that's just something built into a chipset or if that's custom software.
Well, we'll see what they have in the plans. Like the stacking was mentioned just as one of the new features for or the usages for the QSFP. So they must have some internal roadmap with some surprises to come.
If they're going to take switching seriously, though, that's one thing they need to offer. If they want to compete with the likes of
there's-
Juniper and Cisco and
There's
TP-Link.
still quite a few things they need to do if they
Sure,
want to take it really
absolutely.
seriously.
Yeah.
Actually, the good news is because I've talked with Mikrotik pretty much at the every MUM about what the CRSs are still missing and what they need. And they know. They just
And they're, even in the latest RC, they've done
Yeah,
a lot to make...
constantly improving it slowly as developer time frees up and Actually, one of the things I don't know if this is public, but well, never mind.
Those are bad. Oh, those are bad. Those are my like sports shoes that I
So Greg
shouldn't have
just
worn.
took his socks off, and they probably should have stayed on, along with the shoes.
Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad decision. Milk was a bad choice.
You can still put them back on.
I just prefer to put them further away.
Oh man.
Just scoot them further away. They're not terrible, but it's sort of tangy, sort of sharp. Not exactly enjoying that vintage.
We're gonna cut this. I think we should cut this.
Nah, it's
No.
going in. It's going
Oh,
No blooper reel. This is raw. Yeah.
talking about his feet or
Obviously
we should
no-
move on to the next topic.
They're
Yeah.
right.
Obviously, no version 7. Somebody was kind enough today in one of the presentations to call it the
Somebody in the
unicorn.
audience.
Somebody
Does
in
it
the
come with
audience.
Skittles?
Skittles are mentioned. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, so I got, it ships with Skittles. Yeah, so just ignore and continue.
If
Oh.
Mikrotik were from Ireland, maybe
Oh.
there'd be a pot of gold.
Somewhere. No, but Yannis mentioned that at the EU MUM, I don't know if he mentioned it at this one as well, or maybe that will actually be at his presentation tomorrow. That with the new bridging and bridge changes, that we are already using 60% of version 7. So, yeah.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, one of the core things is version 7 is supposed to use the new kernel, right?
Right,
Well,
exactly.
and actually, Mikrotik is now using unspecified 3.7 version kernel. So previous version 6, this is also something that was publicly said at the European one. Previous version 6 were running the 3.3.5 kernel. Now they're up to 3.7 something. So in one of the recent, like in less than a year, they actually moved to 3.7 kernel. So yeah.
And that's really what's limited them from releasing a lot of these features. So hopefully we should see more and more as
No,
they...
yeah. So, which it's hard to blame them at this point about not wanting to release version 7 because they, of course, promised so much in it.
Mhm.
But the truth really is that they are, and what Mikrotik is now saying is that don't look at the version number, look at the features that are actually coming and present in releases, and so apparently with the new bridge, that was 60% of version 7, which is now out and available. So I think that all that's missing is all the new routing engine improvements and VRFs and
Which they're waiting on until the feature set matches the existing code set, right?
yes.
So that makes sense.
Hmm.
One day.
What else? That's some new faces. That's cool. A lot of people from Texas here. Haha.
Not so many from Europe.
Nah, not too many. There's no Nigerians. I meet a new Nigerian every year, except for this year.
I met one guy from Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah, someone. Yeah, I met. Maybe it was the same guy
Maybe.
briefly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was announced on the podcast yet, but Unimus launched the configuration push feature.
Not yet. It will go out publicly in about 2 weeks.
Okay, so
Yeah.
real close,
Real close.
which
Soon.
is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Actually, we'll be sending out a newsletter to literally everyone that
Yeah.
has Unimus, because we really want some very, heavy testing on this and heavy, we want to make it right. We want as much feedback as possible.
So what's the push feature?
Push.
So just the 30-second sales pitch.
Yeah, like the easy example. You want to change a password on 200 devices, literally 2 clicks. You want to provision a new VLAN to 100 switches, couple of clicks as well. The really nice thing is it will do output grouping. So when you push something to 200 devices, you don't want to look at every single one, what the output was, which one failed, which one succeeded. So it will actually tell you on these 100 devices, the output was this, on 50 devices, the output was different, and
Nice.
another 20 failed to switch to enable mode, another 10, SSH unreachable, so it makes it really easy to en masse push configuration and see the results of that push. So big new feature, everybody was asking about it for quite a long time now, and yeah.
You know what seems weird to me is how surprised a lot of people were at what Unimus does and some of the features you had on the roadmap and stuff. Like, they'd never heard of it. And it seems weird because I feel like we talk about it all the damn time.
But at
it's
the
like-
same time, it virtually came out of nowhere. Like, you're only what,
Yeah,
a year plus in?
a year and a half on the market, yeah.
So I mean, it's relatively new. They've made a ton of progress in a short period of time.
I don't know. It just seems like if I know something, then everybody else obviously does, because I'm always behind the curve on this stuff. So yeah, you need to pump that stuff out. Sell that brand.
You're on the inside track on this one.
That's cool. Did you guys see anything else you found interesting? This MUM felt smaller this year.
170.
Yeah.
Was that?
It's
Is
a
that
little
average?
bit smaller, right?
Yeah.
I hope they're not shrinking here.
No, it feels like the US MUMs are smaller every year for some reason. I don't know.
Well,
It's-
part of that might be you go to the European mums.
Yeah, might be.
Oh,
The
yeah,
European
for
ones
sure.
are huge
Yeah.
compared to this, but yeah.
And what were they saying about the Mexican MUM?
Oh yeah, the Mexican MUM, which is so European MUM last week was 1,300 people. The US MUM this week is 150, 170, and next week the Mexican MUM it will be 1,200 people, which is I was really surprised to
That's
to-
huge,
to hear
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bananas. That's cool. Emerging market down there. I don't guess I know anything else. You guys know anything else?
Maybe tomorrow.
I mean, maybe.
The LAG60 should be coming soon to the market. I'm really looking forward to that.
And
Are
then
you really? I didn't
Yeah.
think you were like super keen for the 60 gig stuff.
Oh yeah, no, the wap60 not so much. Although now that it's 200 meters distance, that's much better. But yeah, the LAG60, I mean, full duplex gig wireless at 1.5 kilometer, 1 mile. That will.
So I deployed a couple of the wap60s just recently, and I was doing 641.3, which was mainline at the time. I know they're saying do the RC because that's where all the improvements
I was
are.
actually recommended to move to the RC.
I was too.
Yeah.
I didn't do
because it fixes a bug.
Don't they
I don't
always
know,
want you on
does
the
it?
RC?
it.
No,
Don't
but
run the RC in production, but if you want good performance.
Well, they said on the wap60 specifically to run it because it
Yeah.
fixes a problem that they were
Yeah.
able
Yeah.
to work around.
Interesting.
And also the RC has a lot more stats to the command line.
Also, SMP
It shows
finally.
you,
Yeah.
like, it actually gives you instructions for alignment. It says up 8 degrees and to the right,
All right. Yeah. So
5
that-
degrees.
That is
and
exactly
that's
the
for the
problem I had.
LHG60s specifically. So.
Okay. Well, on the WAP60, there's no feedback.
It's-
It's 641.3, and like you go
It's like
wireless
0 to 100. And
You go wireless debugging, and it's empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they haven't implemented any
Well, and I think
like feedback.
it sounds like also coming up at some point, you're going to be able to adjust where the signal is going to. Beyond just getting the feedback on where it's going, you can make
It tells you which one of the little sector antennas
Yeah.
in the array that it's using,
Mhm.
so you can basically
And it sounds
fine
like
tune
that
the
will be
60. You can
adjustable.
point the
Yeah.
60s at it, the WAP60s at the other one better, as
Mhm.
opposed to just hanging it in, shotgun approach.
Right.
You can actually sort of align it, but
Yeah.
it's still.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. They're making constant updates. So I'm looking for more output, more feedback on it. It basically says, so right now for me it's basically works or doesn't work. There's
It's all
no,
on the command line. It tells you the RSSI and everything now. So.
Also SNMP
Oh yeah.
with the newest beta or
Oh,
RC
with
release.
RC.
That's nice.
If you
Finally, you
throw
can
RC.
also pull all the stats through SNMP now, which is yay.
Alright, I just need to update it to RC, I guess. I'm always just so apprehensive to run RC code.
I find an
Makes me
RC that
nervous.
works, and then I'm just apprehensive to upgrade it. I'm like, well, this one works. I guess I'll stay there.
Yeah, it works. Don't touch it. Yeah.
You like that RC that has the initial support.
Yeah. And it works, and I'm afraid that the next RC might break it, so I just stay where I'm at.
Something else I noticed is I had the WAP60s about, I don't know, 100 meters apart, probably, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I've got one 130 meters and it works fine.
Yeah, and
So-
one I had on the other side of a window that was made in the 1940s, and it did not work. And I was
No,
thinking,
we tried a window deployment. It did not
yeah,
work at all.
It did not work.
It was right across the street. It's like
yeah,
super
it
close,
was,
and
dude.
it
They
just
were
did
like,
not work.
Yeah, it's one street in between, just one lane either direction, and then the buildings. One's in the window, one's at the edge of the building, and
Yeah,
it did
no.
not work. And I opened the window, and all of a sudden,
Yep.
yeah, it came up. I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting.
24 gig actually works pretty well across the street through a window.
60 does not. I
Not
wonder
so
if I
much
could do
easier.
LHGs through a window. Is that what I need those for?
I don't know.
My window deployments? I don't know. That won't look tacky in the window. That's just of note. I don't know. I just that close. I just figured it'd be fine, but it wasn't.
Although some of the Wave 2 stuff, you'd probably get comparable performance. Similar price point, maybe?
I had these burning a hole in my pocket. I wanted to try it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I wanted to put them out there. Actually, I wanted them out in the weather. One side anyway. Just moving some packets. I just want to see what it would do. So I could see. I've used one and put it through its paces and stuff.
Mhm.
Alright. I think I'm done. You done?
Cool.
Excellent. Alright.
We'll see you guys soon, right?
Yeah. You guys want to do the thing where we talk about how to find us, or do you care?
Same old,
Miller, go to Miller's blog. Go to Unimus.
Little brothers.
Our Slack
Find-
channel is
yeah.
probably the best way these days.
The
now.
Patreon.
I think that's
We're
the
all
way
that.
to find all of us, really.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
and everyone else is a patron. It's like a mastermind of knowledge, and everyone just jumps in and says what they know, and it's a ton of good information.
Someone articulated it extremely well just 2 minutes ago. We were down there. I'm not going to name names, but they were saying that they had an idea on how they were going to do something and just wanted confirmation. And when they asked some of the people here at the MUM, they got very loud, blustering responses that they needed to do this thing, and it just sent them sort of in the wrong directions. And they were saying, and I'm not sure if this was their intention, but to me, the Little Brothers WISP Slack channel is that quiet, safe place where you can ask questions and you don't have a lot of very loud opinions. Sometimes I feel like when people are loud, it's so that you don't realize they're not 100% sure what they're talking about, right? And you just, for me, you guys have just such a wealth of quiet confidence and knowledge. And like Thomas said, I'm not going to speak up on something if I don't know what the answer is, or I can't help lead you to the right path. I assume is. I'm fairly okay with speculating, but I always preface it with maybe this or
You will get
Could
a
be
couple
that.
of different opinions.
yeah.
From
different
all of
opinions.
us.
Well,
So
there's
I like
different patrons too, and
Yeah.
and kind of that breadth of knowledge and areas of expertise. I feel like you're more likely to find an answer that's going to pertain to what you're doing.
Yeah.
maybe some of the other avenues.
I just know a lot of people feel siloed, like they can't ask anybody a question.
Well, there's tons of questions I heard today where I just want to be like, oh yeah, just like, don't worry about getting your answer now. Just come to the Slack channel later, and we'll find you an answer.
Yeah. Just ask really quick. There's people perfectly willing to help you.
So how do these guys get to that Slack channel?
Patreon.com/TheBrothersWISP.
Okay.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yeah. You'll probably have a link down in the...
Yeah, there's always in the doodle-doo.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
See ya.